Okay, let's try to get a little bit of a better angle. Okay, this is as good as it's gonna get. So yeah, hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a sit down video because it has been a while since I have kind of just talked about what I'm doing, what I've been doing, and just catching you guys up on life on tour. If you guys follow me on other social media channels, you guys would probably know that I have been... Okay, I hope this bird is not super loud. Anyway, life in South Africa. So I have been here in sunny South Africa for about 6 weeks now, playing on the Sunshine Ladies Tour and on the LET as well. So I thought I would just kind of... Well, I don't think I've talked about why I decided to come here and play here this year and why I've decided to take this route to come to South Africa for the first time and experience the Sunshine Ladies Tour. So I thought I'd give you guys a little update on everything, why I chose to come here, my experience so far, life in South Africa, and how I've been doing and what else I'm going to be doing. So yeah, this is just a little life update. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I think I've been doing pretty good with the video so far because I did a lot of video editing while I was home, but it's been a while since you've seen this face live. So keep watching, and thank you guys for still continuing to be on this journey with me here at Golf with Jen. Okay, a little bit of a change in setup here because I figured I would just play some clips and some of the videos that I've taken since I've been in South Africa for you guys to watch and enjoy while I'm talking. So this video doesn't have to be like 1 hour long of just me talking and then you guys watching the clips after. So you can watch the clips while I'm talking. Okay, so anyway, let's go straight from the beginning and why I decided to do the Sunshine Ladies Tour this year. So for those of you guys that don't know, the Sunshine Ladies Tour actually is only a 6 tournament long stretch of events. So there's only 6 tournaments on the Sunshine Ladies Tour, and 2 of those are LET tournaments, which are the Joburg Open, which just happened, and the South African Investec Open, which is going to be happening next week, once in Joburg and once in Cape Town, which are like the 2 main big places in South Africa. So basically, I've played 4 events on the Sunshine Ladies Tour, and 2 of the events are going to be co-sanctioned with the LET. So I think that kind of shows maybe an explanation as to why I've decided to come here to South Africa. But to talk a little bit more in depth about it and why, and just kind of explain a little bit more about how life on tour works as well. Okay, so as many of you guys may or may not know, to get on the tour, what you need to do is go through Q School. So for the Sunshine Ladies Tour, it's only 6 events, like I said, so they don't have a Q School. But if you have an official World Golf ranking, then you're able to just apply for the tournaments, and after each tournament, there's a re-rank. So the way it works is if you play well the first week, you make the cut, then you get re-ranked, and then obviously you're going to get into the following week's tournament, and etc, etc. So the better you play, the higher chance of you getting into all the events. So as you guys know as well, last year I played on the LET and I went to Q School last year, and unfortunately I didn't finish super good in final stage. And this is one of the things about being on tour that maybe not many people understand. So for the beginning of the year on the LET, most of the events are limited field events. So they had Kenya, which was a full field event. So if you finished in the top 20 in Q School, you would get to play Kenya, obviously. And also for some categories, you get to play Kenya as well because it is a full field event. But other than that, the other events like Morocco and the Saudi Invitational, those were very limited field events. So therefore, if you don't finish in the top 20 in Q School, it is very difficult for you to get into those events. You almost have maybe 5% chance of getting to those events. And the way to get into those events is for people to withdraw. Because for instance, the Saudi International Tournament this year was a huge tournament. The first time they had it, it was equal prize money to the men's, $5 million. So obviously everybody wanted to play it. So not only LET players, but LPGA players came as well. And what happens then is as more LPGA players get into the tournament, less LET players get into the tournament. So it is very difficult. It's not so simple just as to like, yeah, just go to Q School, finish this, and you get to play all the events. And also the other thing that plays a factor is that obviously there's going to be re-rank throughout the year. So this is what I talked about last year. Last year, you know, I played in Q School and that's how I got into the LET, but I didn't finish super well as well. I didn't finish in the top 20, so I didn't get into all the events at the beginning of the season. But I did get into a few, which I played well enough to get me re-ranked to get into the rest of the tournaments for the year. So what makes this difficult is that if you don't get into these first few events because you didn't finish in the top 20 in Q School or top 60 from last year's Order of Merit, you basically have no chance to play before the re-rank. And if you don't play before the re-rank, you don't have a chance to get re-ranked. And if you don't get a chance to get re-ranked, you don't have a chance to get into the rest of the tournaments for the rest of the year. So this makes it very difficult because Q School is 1 week in an entire year. Some people peak during that week, some people don't. Some people, like for me, I know I had one really bad day in Q School that just basically took away my entire chance to finish in the top 20. And it is as simple as that. It's just one bad day and there goes your top 20 status for next year. And that's the difficult thing about Q School. So anyway, without going too much into that, the other door that opened for me was the Sunshine Ladies Tour. And the Sunshine Ladies Tour, I heard about this from my friends that I met through the LET who told me that they've been to South Africa, they played on the tour, and that is the other way that they got around getting into these events in the beginning of the year in order to get re-ranked. Because like I said, if you don't finish in the top 20, chances are you're not going to get into these events and therefore you don't even have a chance to get re-ranked. So for me, I knew that I didn't finish in the top 20. I knew that I was not going to get a chance to go play in this first few events of the year. And therefore, with all this being said and with this information about the Sunshine Ladies Tour, I decided to give it a try, to come to South Africa for the first time and to compete on the Sunshine Ladies Tour and hopefully get good enough results that I get into each event each week and eventually into the LET events. So previously, the Sunshine Ladies Tour was a pretty small tour based on my knowledge. So usually, for instance, if you play on the LET, the cut is up to 60 people. On the Sunshine Ladies Tour, it's only to 30 people. And the reason being is that before, the tournament fields were never full. But this year, we had up to 110, 120 players playing, and most of them were actually LET players. So the reason being is everybody had the same idea, which was we would come and play in the Sunshine Ladies Tour and hope to get good enough results that we can get into this 2 LET events that are going to be happening in South Africa. So it was a very, very good experience because you're not only playing on a new tour in new conditions on new grass, but you're also competing with the same people that you would compete with throughout the year. I would say like maybe, I don't know how many golfers, professional women golfers there are in South Africa, but let's say that's a field of 110, maybe 30, 40 was South African golfers, and the remaining was basically LET players from all over the world. So I would say it was a very, very good decision to come here because not only do you compete with these people that you're going to be competing with the rest of the year, but you also get to familiarize yourself with South African conditions because the grass here is different. Even from Joburg to Cape Town, it's very different. And they have this kikuya grass. I hope I'm saying that right. But kikuya grass, which is the rough here, which definitely takes some familiarization too. But overall, definitely have been having a very good experience here. I have to start right from the beginning because you guys have to hear how I was introduced to South Africa. So coming here, a lot of people told me, hey Jen, you have to be careful, especially if you're a girl. If you're traveling alone, be careful. Like, don't take things for granted because not to say anything bad about South Africa, but the rate of petty thefts are very high here. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of scared. And people were telling me that people have guns and things like that. And I was like, okay. Well, anyway, that being said, our first tournament was played in Sun City Golf Club, which is one of the top golf clubs in South Africa. So if you've never been to Sun City, it's actually a resort. So it's not really a Sun City Golf Club. It's like a Sun City resort. You enter, basically you go there, you enter this like gate, you tell them you're staying in the hotel, blah, 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 show them your reservation, go inside and you're like in a resort. Like There are multiple hotels, there's a casino, there's a golf club, there's 2 golf clubs in there. So you basically don't have to leave the area, but they don't have anything like a grocery store, shopping mall, whatever. They only have certain foods in there. So first day we flew in there, stayed in the hotel, blah blah blah, practiced, whatever. Next day we were like, oof, they don't have any snacks here, they don't have any like grocery stores, so we need to buy some snacks for the golf course. So my friend and I decided to go out to the grocery store because we looked up on our maps and it was 6 minutes away. So we're like, oh, this resort itself is pretty big. Like I said, there's 2 golf courses in there. It's pretty big. So we're like, maybe it's in the resort. So we drive and we were like, oh wait, we have to go out the gate. So maybe it's not in the resort. But it said 1 minute from the gate. So I was like, okay, it's 1 minute from the gate. We can just go to the grocery store and come back and we'll be fine. Just make a quick run to the grocery store. So we drive to the grocery store, go in there, literally just grab like water, snacks, like energy bars, whatever we needed for the course for the next day. Went back to our car, didn't think of anything, went back to the hotel, went to sleep, blah, blah, blah. Next day we wake up and we were like, both of us were thinking, where are our visors? And we're thinking, maybe it's in the car. So we go in the car, we're like searching the car everywhere. And we're like, that's weird. I swear I had my visor in the car. And then we were thinking, what could have happened to our visor? It couldn't be that 2 of us lost our visors. Like we could have just both dropped it. And we only went from the golf course to the hotel, like with our visors. So we're like, where could we have dropped it? In the golf course? No way. So we both remember distinctively taking it out in the car, which is what you normally do. You know, you finish a round, you go to the car, you take off your hat. So we're like, weird, whatever. We just didn't think about it, wore another visor for the day, whatever. And then went to the driving range, was hitting some balls, and then one of our friends came up to us. It's me and another girl, by the way. That's why I keep saying us. And she was telling us, oh, did you hear about the Spanish girls? Their car got broken into. And we're like, where? And they said, oh, at the grocery store. And we said, we were at the grocery store. And the girl said, yeah, the person broke into their car, stole their visors, and then threatened them with like asking them to pay them money. We both looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh, our car got broken into. But apparently they have a way to block the sensor so they don't break the window or anything. So we didn't even know that our car was broken into. But apparently they have this thing of stealing visors because they will then sell it back. And obviously we had like Titleist visors and things like that. So maybe it's higher value. I don't know, but that's gotta be one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced. To break into a car just to steal a visor. Okay, and at the same time we had like shoes in there, we had clubs in there, but they stole visors, which obviously we're not complaining about because we were like, thank God they didn't steal our clubs. But yeah, that was our rude introduction to Johannesburg. And from that we were like, okay, well obviously this is just to kick us up in the butt and be like, hey, be careful, watch out, don't take things for granted. So we were like, okay, we've learned our lesson, we're not going anywhere, we're gonna stay in Sun City and we're gonna just stay in here. Next day, go to the golf course, blah blah blah. And the previous day, I actually took out my rangefinder because when I was traveling, I put it in my luggage bag, not in my golf bag. So blah, 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 put my rangefinder in the golf bag. Next day, go to the golf course, open my bag. Where is my rangefinder? So at this point, after 2 days, I've lost a visor and my expensive Bushnell, which I don't care about the visor, but my Bushnell, that hurt. So I'm like, well, I guess I don't have a rangefinder for the rest of this trip. First day going out to the golf course and I already lose my rangefinder. I don't want to blame anyone. I don't know how it might have happened. I definitely had it the day before, went to the golf course. That's all I did, went to the golf course. Literally, I don't know, maybe when my bag was at the putting green or something and I went to the bathroom. Not gonna point any fingers, but anyway, it was gone. Never found it again. So, a very sad story. Lost my expensive Bushnell, which I still don't have at this point because first of all, it's 13,000 Rand, which is crazy expensive. Second of all, I didn't want to risk buying it again and getting it stolen again here. So I might try to get it before I go home because we don't have that in Malaysia right now. But anyway, besides the story. So that was how we were introduced to South Africa, but safe to say after that whole event, we've had a very, very good trip so far. Other than the first 2 days where we really had a rude awakening, we've been very aware, we've been only going to places where people have deemed to be safe, we've asked the locals where it's safe. I forgot I had one more story to tell, so quick story. We were going to the airport from Joburg to Cape Town, but we had a flight to catch, so we went to fill up gas before returning our rental car. Fill up gas, blah blah blah, we're 5 minutes from the airport, drive out of the gas station, boom, rock chip. It was like this big. I was like, we're literally 5 minutes from the rental car station. But apparently rock chips happen very often here in Johannesburg's roads, so heads up if you're ever driving in Joburg, be careful because chances are there are rocks flying from the ground, from the trucks, from the bridges apparently, I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, back to the vlog. And so far, knock on wood, we've been fine. We've been here for almost 6 weeks, like I said. If you guys want to catch up on my results, I have posted them online on my Instagram. I always do a little update at the end of the event. But so far I have made, so basically in conclusion, just not to say like scores and stuff, if you guys don't want to see that, just go to my Instagram. But I made 4 out of 4 cuts on the Sunshine Ladies Tour and was somewhere in the top 15 out of 120 players that were playing. So that granted me access basically to both the LET events here in South Africa. So check for the first part of the goal, which was to get into those events, because like I said, the better you play, the more you get into the event. So if you don't play well, you don't make the cuts, then essentially you wouldn't get into the events anyway. But luckily for me, it worked out. I managed to make 4 cuts on the Sunshine Ladies Tour and get into these 2 events. So we've just played the first event here, which is the Joburg Open. Unfortunately, I mean, honestly, I don't think I had a bad week. I don't want to say that it's like making excuses, but I do feel like I just got unlucky this week. I missed a cut by 1 stroke. And I mean, if you look at my Instagram post again, I'm not going to say like my scores and stuff because it's too many stats and too much information. But basically, I was playing well, I was playing fine. I just really got into a lot of unlucky positions this week. Like, it's just one of those, like I had a good first day. I shot 2 under on the first day, which left me somewhere in like the top 15, top 20. And then the second day I shot 5 over, and really like I didn't even hit really bad shots. Like I would hit it down the line that I would want to, and it would literally bounce behind a tree. It was just that kind of day, and I guess it's just golf, you know, some days you just don't have it. Unfortunately for me, it happened on a day where the cut was being made and I was just 1 outside the cut. So what can you do about it? One of the things that I would say being on tour, it's very difficult to not get into a bad hit space about this kind of things, especially like I said, the reason we came here and most of the girls playing on the Sunshine Ladies Tour, to be honest, like other than maybe the South Africans, but also there's a lot of South Africans on the LET, but other than a majority of the girls playing on the Sunshine Ladies Tour this year straight up said they came here with the intention to try to get reshuffled into the LET. So obviously our purpose coming here, it was great to play well in those first 4 events, but our purpose coming here was to play well in these remaining 2 events, which is the LET events, which are crucial to get us re-ranked. So unfortunately for me this week, it did not work out the way I wanted to, but I really had a tough time after that day. But I know that, like I said, it's hard to not get into a bad headspace because you're like, oh, I'm playing well. Like, why did I have to get so unlucky on that one day? And it's just, I mean, we say we missed the cut by 1 stroke, but in reality, we know it. There was like 2 strokes, 3 strokes, 4 strokes out there that could have been easily saved. You know, it shouldn't even be 1 stroke. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's just the way it is on tour. Like, if you go look at the Joburg Open cut and look at how many of the great players, people who have won multiple times on tour, missed the cut. Like, that's just the way golf is. It's not who's the better player, it's who plays better on that week or on that day. So anyway, without making this even longer of a ramble, I think that I had to basically just get myself back into perspective. Obviously, it means a lot more to the people playing the Sunshine Ladies Tour this week to make the cuts for this week's events, because the other people that are in the event are either in the top 60 or finish 20th in the top 20 in Q School. So they're pretty much in for the rest of the year for the event. So for them, these 2 weeks don't really mean that much. Whereas for us, we know that if we don't make the cuts this week, well, we'll have to just wait around and see which LET events we can get into. So obviously it means a lot more for the people that have been playing on the Sunshine Tour and have been got into this event and have been trying to play well in this event. But I don't know, maybe it's a bit unfair to say that as well, because everybody takes every week seriously, obviously. But when you know that you already have 30 events to play to get re-ranked for next year versus when you have 2 events to play to try to get into tournaments to get re-ranked for next year, I do think it's a little bit different. So being in that situation myself, I just kind of had to. I don't think I let that get to me on the second day. It wasn't anything like that. It just wasn't my day. I'm just gonna boil it down to that. It just wasn't my day. But hopefully, I know that I'm playing the golf that I need to be playing right now. Based on the first day itself, I made 6 birdies and 1 eagle. So the 2 under was honestly not to be full of myself, but it was a bad 2 under. So I know that I'm in the right space right now. I know that I have the game, I can compete. It's just making sure that I stay more in the present, I think, and just play the game that I know that I can play. And hopefully, when it's my time, it's my time. I think that's just the way to think about it. I think sometimes as a professional golfer being on tour, when you're playing week in, week out, it's some weeks can feel like it's the end all be all. It's you have to play well this week. If not, it feels like, your whole world comes crashing down. And I know it sounds very dramatic, but unless you are in this experiencing what we are experiencing right now, it's very easy to be like, I wish I would have your life. It's so easy to just play golf every day. But it's almost sad, but the amount of stress related to this game that we love so much, and obviously that we love playing, and that's why we want to pursue a career in it, is kind of where I'm at right now, which is trying to not remove the stress, because there's always going to be stress, there's always going to be pressure, but playing this game because I love it, and just going back to that, and going back to me just enjoying this game, and not to say that I don't enjoy it. I don't know how to say this in a way that doesn't make it sound like it's so dramatic. But it's not that I don't enjoy it. I think that sometimes when you enjoy it a little bit more, you get a little bit more lucky, you get a little bit more good breaks. If you don't put too much pressure on it, too much stress on it. And sometimes it's very hard to, when you get bad breaks, to keep on going, because you're like, I already got 2 bad breaks today. How many more bad breaks am I going to get? And I think when you put that out there, I don't want to put this into put it into the universe, manifestation, whatever, but you're kind of manifesting that for yourself. And I think that's kind of what happened on the second day for me, to be honest, because I just got so unlucky in so many multiple instances that is just crazy. But anyway, the end of the story for right now is that I know I've got the game. I know I'm in the right space. I just have to put it all together, and hopefully I will end this video showing you guys my final result for the SA Open, which is going to be next week. And I'm just going to do my best and have fun, and whatever the result is, I'm just going to accept it and go with it, because I know that I'm doing everything that I can, and I think that's most important. So hopefully at the end of this video there'll be some good news. But yeah, so far that's my kind of roundup of my year so far, this experience playing on the Sunshine Ladies Tour. And one thing I have to, before I go into the last part of this video, which is going to be a continuation after next week, let's just talk about something that's very funny about South Africa. Number one, obviously you can't leave anything in your car. You have to be careful of people, because we're also renting small cars. So I think that's why it doesn't help, because the technology in those cars are not great. They don't have beep beep, so we don't know when it locks and stuff like that. Anyway, be careful of petty theft of your car. Always make sure that it's locked, and if it's locked already, try not to leave anything in your car. Number 3, load shedding. Wow. So if you've never heard of load shedding, it's this situation in South Africa where there's no electricity for a couple of hours. And let me tell you what, that has been an experience, especially when you've got 7 a.m. tea times and you have to wake up at 4 a.m. and you have to put your contact lenses in with no lights. You're using your phone to try to guide around, but you can't really shine your phone in your eye to try to put your contact lenses in. Anyway, mad respect for South Africans for having to deal with this for, I think it's been like 4 or 5 years now. Pretty crazy. But yeah. Anyway, this video is already too long, so I'll catch you guys next week. See you guys then. Hi guys, so it's the morning. Unfortunately, that's the end of my South Africa trip for me. I missed the cut yesterday. This is what I shot. Definitely a lot of positives to take from this week, which is what I'm trying to do. I haven't been able to piece it together, and on the first day I had like 5 3-putts. On the second day I had 2 3-putts, and that really cost me. Obviously I hit bad shots out there, but just to put it simply, just like a little bit better putting would have already saved me from the cut this week. So it's not far. This week I had to learn that the hard way, because on the first day I really struggled with the putting, and it was really frustrating because I hit a lot of good putts down the line that I wanted to, but it would break the opposite direction. And I'm okay missing putts when I hit a bad putt, but when you hit a good putt and it doesn't go in the hole and instead breaks further away from the hole, it really like, I had no idea how to read the greens. And I learned that through reflection and like going over it and looking at it and figuring it out that there's actually a mountain break on this golf course. Everything is breaking from one direction towards the sea, and also like the mountain break was affecting the speed and the break of the putt. So that I figured it out after the first day, and it definitely helped on the second day. Putting a lot better on the second day, but it's just a little too late. But I guess it's just part of the game. Like, I don't know how, like, just because a place has mountains or sea or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's mountain breaks. So you do need a little bit of like, I guess, local knowledge to be able to figure that out. I don't really know. But yeah, I've had to figure it out the hard way this week. But hopefully I'll come back here next year and be able to kill it next year, because I do really like the golf course, and I think it's a great golf course, and all the golf courses that we've played in South Africa, it's been amazing. So yeah, definitely just want to take the positives from this week. Unfortunately, that means less playing opportunity for me in Europe this year. But I still got playing opportunities in Asia, and I'm just gonna work hard and do my best and see what happens, and wait for the opportunity when it comes, and make sure that I'm able to compete when it comes, because that's what matters, to play well when you get the opportunity to. And yeah, I think I'll have time to go home now and do some reflection, do some work that needs to get done, and be able to work a little bit before going back to compete, and hopefully be even better than I am now, and just to keep improving, which is always the aim of the game. I do see a lot of good things, and there's a lot of things that have definitely improved, so I do want to focus on that, but also obviously need to work on the things that I need to work on. And this is going to be my plan for the upcoming few days, weeks, and until I compete again. So thanks for watching all the way to the end if you did, and thanks to everyone who has reached out to me and made this South African trip amazing. I hope to come back next year. And yeah, that's all for this vlog. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys next time.